JB, I'm taking calls. I'm curious. I want to hear offers. I want to hear what people
Excuse me, what'd you say?
Jaylen Brown,
Why?
I would put out there as a possible trade chip to teams. I would be interested in hearing what they had to say, what would be coming back. Absolutely. I would not just don't take any calls on JB. That to me, that's not smart.
I'm a big believer you always listen, Fitzy, but you got to blow my socks off to get me to unload JB. Cooper Flag would
You're
work.
not unloading him for just one certain kind of player. You're unloading him for a package of players that might be able to work in complement with whatever your offensive and defensive scheme is, with centered around Tatum, obviously, when he returns healthy, and picks. Like, if you're going to go for the full reboot in this bridge gap reset year, and I will never use the phrase, oh, Tatum's injury was a good thing. But looking for the silver lining, which you guys just were moments ago, and the idea of like, hey, it makes it a notch easier to be able to say, guys, we got to make some hard decisions. I mean, our best player's out for the year. That is the plus positive that you have to look for in what is a really, really unfortunate season-ending injury.
The one thing I will open my very limited mindset with JB for is fit. I mean, we've talked about it for 8 freaking years, the fit of those two. And could you have a better fit? And if you've decided, I mean, you did decide Jason Tatum is your centerpiece star, is there a better combination? Now, the counterpoint is they won the title. So there's not a lot of teams that have titles, right? So if you won a title,
one-win titles.
There are
a lot of one-wins.
There are, and I would love to see
Raptors have a title.
Yeah,
but I would love to see them get the opportunity to win multiple titles because I think they have it. That's why this is. Brad Stevens is in the crosshairs this offseason. They showed him, was it the last loss when he already had like the AirPods in and people were like, that's our guy. He's already making moves. He's already thinking what he's going to do. There are all these memes.
Signify that?
I guarantee, apparently. I just assumed he was listening to the basketball game. I the play-by-play call, but people went in various directions with that. But this is a huge offseason for him. He's still a genius, right?
That's
right now he's a genius.
You know what? Until he proves otherwise,
right.
Yeah.
So this offseason, he's either going to strengthen Fitzy, his genius moniker, or he's going to trade Drew Holiday and not really replace it and trade Porzingis and not get talent. You know what I mean? Like, this could be a bit of a crossroads. This is definitely a crossroads for Jaylen Brown. Definitely a crossroads for Jaylen Brown, how he handles the year as the centerpiece of the Celtics.
We also don't know if
I'm excited to see that.
Me too. And Brad Stevens, crossroads this offseason.
Is he going to get the meniscus surgery, or is he going to try to heal it naturally?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Do I look like a doctor?
Well, I know. It's just that's part of the.
Yeah, but I don't care. I mean, just get it fixed.
If
I don't want to hear bitching about that. I will turn on him if I start hearing bitching about the knee.
Yeah. If we get to training camp and we hear knee stories and he didn't get it fixed,
I'll be bitching
right now.
I'll be with you bitching.
I hope so.
We don't make excuses for that. No, you got a whole off season. Figure it the F out. You got more money than God. Yeah. You got the best doctors than God right here in Boston. Like, figure it out. Like, I no, that is not on my radar. But before we get to the crossroads for JB, we got to get to the crossroads for Brad Stevens. You want him to blow up the whole style of play. Less three-point shooters, different style of a roster.
I think the system's broke.
I don't think he'll do that. I think that's a bridge too far for him. But
that would be my number one off-season wish. Blow up. This style of play stinks, and you're not going to have the horses to do it.
But none of you people were saying that when they won the title.
I hated it. Of course I was. I hated it last year.
We're parading around town with banners and rings.
We weren't working together last year, and I was saying it. I was saying that the system is not the best system.
I'm not familiar. I didn't hear.
Yeah.
Nope. Doesn't exist. I put blinders and earmuffs on.
To me, the system's broke, and that's a big concern. And I don't think JB fits. If that's the system that they're going to shoehorn him, come hell or high water, he's not a good fit for that. He's not a good fit for a team that just chucks up 3-pointers.
I agree, but he's your change-up fit. That's how I've always felt about it. He, in and of himself, and it puts a lot of pressure on him, he is actually the adjustment. Yeah. He's the human adjustment.
After it's too late, let's now get some drives to the rim.
A little bit, sometimes, yes, but that's...
All right, I gotta cross sports for a minute here, but Ted, were you guys always the same team regardless of the talent that you had on offense on the Patriots, or would you say that the Patriots always have been the exact same team, or have they mutated game plans and scheme?
Evolved, changed, But I mean, there's sort of core principles, and I'll say this, Fitzy, it was you could never zero in on any one core principle in that game. Like the core principle for the Celtics is to shoot a bunch of threes.
Yeah.
You can go into games and game plan that, right? Where with the Patriots, it wasn't the same game to game, if that makes sense, right?
No, it absolutely makes sense. It absolutely makes sense, and that's why they're predictable, but they've been predictably
Why can't that be
good.
applied in basketball, guys?
That's
the reason why I ask. I know it's not as easy to cross sports and do that. However, if the talent on 2007's Patriots allows you to be a deep passing team, that makes sense. But that was wildly different than 2011 with the two tight ends, 2012 with a focus on the fast-paced, up-tempo running game. You don't have the talent for it, so change things up.
You could ask the Milwaukee, Bucks, excuse me. Where they won it once. Why did they have a problem? I mean, would you change anything they did? No, they won it once. To say they won it once is and that's the reason you should keep doing it. I don't think it's a good argument.
So it's interesting you bring the Bucks up because they made changes later, like they brought in Dame Lillard. That was a massive change for them after they had failed. Like that was sort of a couple years later try. The difference there is they had the one centerpiece player. It was clearly Giannis. There wasn't really you had Drew Holiday, you had what's his name, Chris Middleton.
Middleton.
But those weren't it was Giannis's team, and that's usually what happens. You keep it together, and then the big player decides, oh, we need somebody else. I need help here. This has always been a weird dynamic, the Batman Robin thing with Jaylen Brown just slightly, he's all NBA as well, just below Tatum. That makes it a weirder dynamic, like to keep those guys together, to shake that up, because they tell us they get along really well, right? Like the team tells us they get along really well. Tatum and Brown, what they going to say now? We do this. We won together. Did it with my brother. Jaylen Brown said it in his MVP speech at the finals.
Yeah.
So if you break them up, is Jason Tatum up? We see it every year. Some new super team is built. And then a month in, we're like, wow, that's not really working the way it looked on paper when you put two great players together. That would be the question with whoever you want to trade Jaylen Brown for. Whatever you want to do with Jaylen Brown, I'll listen. Mm-hmm. Cooper Flag or veteran players or Giannis. People have dreamed of Giannis. People want to trade for Giannis, and they think you could trade a package of Jaylen Brown, whatever. Is that going to work? Is Jason Tatum and Giannis going to work?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so, no.
So you got to be careful.
Two ball dominant
because this has worked. We have credited Jaylen Brown for subjugating his ego, and he told us, remember that press conference, I give up a lot to play here. I give up a lot to play for the Boston Celtics, right?
That's what he says, yes.
Why do you say that
Well, I mean, he says he's given up a lot, but then how did he perform in the Game 7 2 years ago and in the Game 6 this year?
What about Game 5?
Yeah, he came to play at Game 5.
I would argue in Game 6 he showed up to play. It was everybody else that didn't show up. Right. It was Bus 2. He took Bus 1, and Bus 2 never showed up.
What if in the next month, Brad calls in JB and says, Jaylen, let's have an honest conversation, you and me.
Yeah.
Do you want to be here for the rest of your career, or do you want to, maybe go do your own thing? What do you think JB would say? Do you think he wants out of here? If he was given the opportunity to go run his own crew, do you think he would jump at that?
No, I don't. I think he's settling into Boston. That was actually the feature this weekend that Noah Dalzell put together about him. He's going to spend the offseason in Boston, and he's becoming more entrenched. Hell, we saw it, the business, the little pop-up shop outside Scores.
So he talks a big game.
41.
So he says one thing, he does another. So he talks a big game. I don't like
the tone of your voice right now. I'm not going to lie to you. You are being very critical of the superstar of the Boston Celtics.
You're right. He is right now, yeah.
Right now, you're going to live and die with JB. Is that accurate?
That's probably fair to say, yes.
You're going to need him to score 25 points a game, correct? You're going to need him to rebound. You're going to need him to play defense. Put some respect on the man's name. Jaylen Brown is the centerpiece of the Boston Celtics until I hear otherwise.
Is to make everyone else better around him. I'm not sure he can do that. He can get his. Can he make everyone else better
Did I
around
miss
him?
the 12 assists in Game 5? 12. Was it Fitzy? Fitzy was 12, I believe.
12.